Hey, what's up, everybody? How you doing tonight? Episode number 404, Drink Until You podcast, the only podcast that lasts until the last drop. How the hell is your Sunday going? How the hell was your week? Hope everybody's okay. I hope you're safe out there. I'm drinking a White Claw Surge. I got a couple here. Let's go ahead and have our first drink. If you got them, drink them. Bottoms up. Cheers, everybody. I've been having so much fun with this AI thing, dude. It's kind of weird, but it's kind of cool too. Just the music people are starting to put out using AI. My favorite thing currently is just like remakes of I think they did like Slipknot at one point. They did like Korn. I heard a Soundgarden one today, and it's just that it's like redone soul. I guess that's the genre I've been kind of stuck on lately. But it's really cool. It's interesting. I love it because it brings out, a band like Slipknot, very, rhythmic and pounding, very tribal in a way. So it's like sometimes the melody kind of gets lost in translation. So that's what I'm noticing when they're redoing these songs like this, is you get to hear a little bit more of the melody, like kind of where, the chord structure, rather than everything just being distorted. And obviously to make it like soul, 60s/70s soul, you got to put some horns in there. So, some keyboards where it fits. So, it just changes the elements, but it's still the same song, same lyrics. It kind of really makes you, me being such a lyric nerd, really kind of makes you respect and appreciate the lyrics more. I know if you're not into like metal and stuff, it can seem like, you listen to something like that and it's just all screaming and you don't know what they're saying and sounds crazy. And then when you actually like dissect the lyrics, it's like, damn, this is actually kind of poetic in a way. You know what I mean? It's pretty impressive. So yeah, exploring all of that, the AI music, has been a lot of fun, but I started trying to think of like a loophole, to be honest with you guys. I would love to be able to start this episode kind of like I do on YouTube, my YouTube shorts. I don't know if you've checked those out yet. Go over to YouTube and check those out when you can. But basically in the shorts, you can pick, a little song to put in there, a little snip of a song to go with your clip. And I wish I could start the episodes that way, is basically what I'm trying to say. I wish I could start with just a different random song that I like, whatever I'm feeling that week. And start the episode that way. That would, pump some energy into it, in my opinion. But yeah, there's copyright laws. You can't do that. So yeah, I'm getting into the AI stuff and I'm starting to think, I'm like, all right, well, this technically isn't a song that exists. It is, but it's just redone in a different style. Therefore, I'll just start using, songs that I love that have been redone by AI. And I'll be in the clear. I can start each episode with music, which would be fun, And turns out that you can't do that either. It always sucks when like Grok gives you the answer you don't want to hear, because I was trying to like basically rationalize using this music that's technically someone didn't perform in a studio. It's just AI. But yeah, apparently that's not allowed. I guess it's, the likeness of the music, which is the lyrics, which is the, melody structure, makes each song unique and different. So you still can't technically use AI recreated music to start a podcast. That was just kind of disappointing. I'm like, and then I just start whittling away like how I'm going to do it so I can somehow like get away with it. I'm like, all right, here's what I'll do. I'll just do the music intro to a song that's been remade by AI, and then, we'll be good. They're not saying the words, so, some people might not recognize what song it is, so you should be in the clear. And it's just like, by that point, you've whittled away what you can do so much. You're just like, fuck it. I'm just not going to do it anymore. I would rather sit down with GarageBand and create my own just consistent intro, which I have done actually recently. But that's kind of what had me on the search for an intro song for the podcast episodes. But yeah, I had to sit down in GarageBand and just recreate, what year was that? My 2018 hit single, the instrumental version, called She Got It From a Toilet Seat, which is not a great title, not very family friendly, kind of gross. But I actually remember years and years ago playing that recorded song, and that's the only lyric in the song, is she got it from a toilet seat. I don't know where that idea came from. I don't know what's wrong with me. I don't know why that even became such a funny thing to me in the first place. But yeah, so I did work on an intro, hopefully intro/outro. I don't know, it's nothing special. I need something, you know what I mean? And I would love to, there's certain Saturdays or Friday nights or Sunday nights, like it is now, that you're just listening to, maybe something you grew up on, maybe some Boston, or maybe some Led Zeppelin, oh God, you better not use Led Zeppelin, dude. They are absolutely against their music being used in any kind of production unless they approve it. I don't know if you guys saw that movie School of Rock, but they basically had to have Jack Black and a room full of people beg to use the Immigrant Song in the movie about rock and roll. And they did let him use it, which was kind of cool. But yeah, it's like that's how tight they keep a grip on it, which is kind of funny. Because there's lots of rumors about around a band like Led Zeppelin, which, I mean, at some point they're not rumors anymore. You can go back and listen to a lot of the songs they ripped off. You know what I mean? Like, they would go watch performers who weren't well known, I guess, in a way, and they would just steal things from them musically. I guess maybe technically too, maybe how somebody was playing, which is a shitty thing to do. I'm not saying I don't like Led Zeppelin, but that part of it, you can go down a whole rabbit hole on that. That part of it I don't like, you know what I mean? Because those people they ripped off never got their due. They should get credit for writing that riff or that chord structure or whatever it may be. So yeah, anyways, can't use AI. It kind of sucks. Let's go ahead and have another drink. It's been a crazy weekend, sports-wise. Maybe not crazy is probably not the word. It's just been eventful. It's been busy. So anyways, let's go ahead and have another drink. Cheers, everybody. I'm currently watching the ALCS versus Mariners versus the Blue Jays. This has been an awesome series, dude. Suarez just missed that ball at third base, though. He was the hero of last game. And I've never heard Suarez. I've been slightly paying attention to the Mariners throughout the season. I do like them. I have talked about them on the podcast, the whole trident thing. When they do something good, that player gets the trident, and they kind of like hold it up to the home crowd. The home crowd's like, oh my God, we love you so much. You're awesome. And it's kind of a cool thing they have going. So Suarez hits the game, basically the grand slam last game, and they do the interview with him, and he is such a likable guy. Like, from that interview alone, he just said all the right, humble things. Like, I'm not from Seattle. Obviously, I'm a Texas boy, but he said all the right things that if you're playing for a team, the crowd wants to hear. You know what I mean? He's basically like, this crowd deserves it. These fans deserve it. That's what we're doing all of it for. And like, dude, as a fan of any team, that should like really kind of have a soft spot for you, because that's so cool, dude. Like, he's got his ducks in a row, I guess is what I'm trying to say, as far as like his priorities of like why they're even doing this. And he like, just to want to bring a championship to the Mariners organization, it's like he's got the right mindset, Yeah, Seattle leads the series 3-2. They could end it here. And that's after the start of the series, which was not great. Well, actually, for Toronto, it wasn't great. And then Toronto claps back in the next two games after getting blown out. They blow out Seattle. It's just been a great series. I've definitely enjoyed it. I'm going for the Mariners, like in this series. It was hard last series. I really wanted Detroit to move on, but clearly they didn't have it this season. But, yeah, this has been a great, like I am rooting for Seattle, but dude, I mean, even when Toronto's playing really well, like it's enjoyable, just as a baseball fan. And I'll tell you what's even more enjoyable was that absolutely incredible game from Ohtani last night. The Dodgers are going to the World Series. They won their series over the Brewers. I mean, they made the Brewers look like, if I could describe this in UFC terms, a recent UFC event. Yeah, the Dodgers were Pajeda, and I can't remember who he fought now, and the Ankalaev, and the the Brewers were Ankalaev, dude. The Dodgers were just all over him from the start, but Ohtani is just, I've decided, dude, he's not from Earth. He's not from this planet, dude. He's an alien. He's been sent here. I don't know what his mission is, but he's really fucking good at baseball. He hit 3 home runs in the game yesterday to eliminate Milwaukee. He hit 3 home runs and had like 10 strikeouts. It's like that's the ultimate control over a baseball game with just a single player. You know what I mean? Like, he's controlling so much of that game. Not only can he hit I think it was like his first at bat too. He, not only can he hit the ball out of the park, but he's so good at pitching, your team's not going to be able to score to catch up from him hitting the ball out of the park. And then he does it 3 times, dude. And let me just explain this to anyone who's not big into sports, or maybe you're only into hockey. I'm a huge hockey fan. I'm sure I have a lot of hockey fan listeners. Shout out to my hockey peeps. But if you don't watch baseball, I'll explain it in NHL and more specifically Dallas Stars terms. Was basically Rantanen last season, Game 7, scoring that hat trick so we could move past the Colorado in the third period. Him doing I think it was 2 goals in the third. Ohtani's game, that's the equivalent, was Rantanen's hat trick in the playoffs last season. Like, when we're dead in the water, we're losing 2-0. That's right, we're losing 2-0 going into the third. This isn't in Dallas, by the way. The building is absolutely stunned and dead. Big strikeout for Seattle right there. But yeah, the building is stunned. It doesn't seem like we can, we're going to move on. It sucks. And then here comes Rantanen with his big hat trick. And I mean, by The narrowest of margins make it to the next round. I mean, Colorado was a tall order, but that's how I would explain it to a hockey fan of what Ohtani did. Except the only thing I would say about what Ohtani did would be like, I guess if Rantanen did that 2 games in a row, maybe. I'm not saying Rantanen's thing wasn't great, but just what Ohtani did was even just more impressive. It just, like I said, I guess the equivalent would be if Rantanen scored, a hat trick to tie the game. I don't even think this would be legal. But if Rantanen scored the hat trick to tie the game, and then it goes into overtime, and Rantanen puts on the goalie pads and saves every shot Colorado, every shot Colorado takes in overtime, and eventually one of his teammates scoring to win that would be as close to the equivalent as you could get. Just for those, sheer fact that it's offense and defense. Ohtani's playing offense and defense, and he not only is he doing that, it's not like he's in left field, it's not like he's at shortstop. He's the guy holding the ball on the mound. He is the most offensive, number 1 offensive player out there on the field when the other team's up to bat. He's the number 1 offender. But yeah, dude, that was incredible. I only saw 2 of the home runs. I knew he already had 1, and I'm so glad I chose to, watch that game, dude. That was epic. I doubt we'll ever see anything like that. Maybe from Ohtani, we'll see it again, dude. I mean, that's just, it's one thing to do it in the regular season. And I can't even really call this game against Milwaukee clutch. It really wasn't. I mean, LA was in a great position. But at the same time, you got to be clutch enough to have even a team you're going to beat, those big plays, That's what it's about. Execution in the playoffs, that's a whole other level of monster. You know what I mean? Like in any sport. To play at that high of a level in the playoffs with the Brewers were the best team in baseball this season, which we say it every year. That doesn't mean shit when it comes playoff time. It sucks because it's like, I don't know. It's probably a hard thing for teams to deal with. It's like we want to play well, but if we play too well, it's like how much energy are we expending to win first place in the whole MLB, and then usually it's just not even worth it. No matter who comes out of this Toronto-Seattle series, I mean, good luck. Like, if Seattle wins this tonight and they move to the World Series, I mean, I can wish and hope and pray and give all the good vibes that I want that Seattle might break through and win a championship. But, dude, you're facing the Dodgers, man. I hate to be a Debbie Downer, but it's the truth. You're not beating the Dodgers, dude. Like, I don't think anyone's beating the Dodgers. Maybe not even for the next couple of years. This will be back-to-back, won't it? It's crazy, dude. They spend a shit ton of money to do it, that's for sure. And if you're Toronto, I think I saw the other day, Toronto's like 3rd or 4th place, overall in spending. If you get taken out by Seattle, who's probably like 10th to 15th in spending, dude, I mean, that's heartbreaking. And in case there is a miracle and Seattle punches through and somehow beats LA, that's a huge, like, David versus Goliath, just on the monetary scale. You know what I mean? Like, that would be super impressive, a huge upset. I just don't think they can do it. I hate to be that way, man. I really want to hope and believe they can do it, but yeah, Otani is just, normally you got a good pitcher in a rotation, and it's like, shit. We got to face him probably game 1, probably game 4 in a 7-game series. That sucks. Like, we don't want to face Verlander in game 1 and game 4, but that's what they're going to do. He's their best pitcher, We don't want to face Greinke in game 1 and game 4. He's their best pitcher. Not only do you have to face Otani in game 1 and game 4, he's swinging the fucking bat too. Dude, it's insane. It's insane, man. Just the threat he has. He's a fucking stud, man. But anyways, let's move on. We're going to talk the little Buffalo Sabres here. I'm super excited. I kind of I pick underdog teams, but obviously I always stick with my Stars. I don't want anyone to ever beat my Stars. But, I have other teams that I pretty much love every NHL team. I'm just kind of on the bandwagon of some good teams, of some not so good teams. Let's go ahead and have another drink. I want to finish this off so I can start the other one, the other White Claw. Give me 1 second here. Cheers. Nope. Didn't get it on that try. Moving on to the NHL. Buffalo, dude. I was watching the Buffalo Ottawa game. And it was a pretty good game in the first. Ottawa was looking pretty strong, Actually, first off, let me just tell you the teams that I picked this season that I'm just kind of jumping on the bandwagon for. Excuse me. I got to stop sniffling on this part. I don't know what I need to do. I need to, get a clothespin, put it over my nose before I start this podcast so I don't sniffle. But here's my bandwagon teams, if I can find it through the million tweets I've done since I've mentioned this. Let's see. Teams I'm rooting for this season. That would be the Sabres, the Sharks, the Flyers, the Panthers, the Jets, the Capitals. I wrote Jets again. I didn't mean to. The Dallas Stars, of course. Who was I thinking the other day to take the place of that second Jets I wrote? I think it actually was Ottawa. I love those fucking black and red jerseys. Oh my God, dude, those are so sick. So yeah, let me read it again with Ottawa replacing the second Jets. I accidentally typoed. Sabres, Sharks, Flyers, Panthers, Jets, Capitals, Senators, and of course my Dallas Stars. I like all these. Dude, I've been on the bandwagon for the Jets for the past 4 to 5 seasons. I just like that team, even though they're a divisional rival of ours, of the Dallas Stars. So those are the teams I'm going for. And so, yeah, I'm watching the Buffalo against Ottawa game, and Ottawa's doing really well in the first period. And there was a call. I think it was maybe the puck went in the net, and then they decided it was a no goal. I can't exactly remember. But I do know it did not go Buffalo's way. And Lindy Ruff was very upset behind the bench, as he gets, when he feels he's, as anybody would get when you feel you're right and the call's wrong. So something happens. I don't know what Ruff said to the bench, but Buffalo just goes on this tear. And they start putting the puck in the net. It's 2-0, and then it's, before you know it, it's 3-2, and then it's 4-2. There's 5-2. I mean, they're just lighting it up. It was 5-3 at one point. I think the game ended at 7-2 or 8-2. Which it's that's why I'm watching those teams, is because those teams have the younger guys on there. Buffalo usually doesn't place too high or places pretty high in the draft for not having a great season. I mean, the Flyers, you could probably say the same for. And I'll kind of explain what I love about the Flyers here in a second too. But yeah, so Buffalo just takes it to them. After, it was like midway through the first period. From that point on, they were just all over them, dude. And so Buffalo moves on after that, and they play the Panthers, Stanley Cup defending Panthers, and they shut them out 3-0. I'm like, oh, dude, I'm ready, bro. I am so ready and hyped for the underdog story. Even if it's, they just make it to the playoffs and they can't win the championship, dude, it's still a great story for a team like this who hasn't really made it to the playoffs in a while. Now, for a team like Carolina, the Hurricanes, it's like I could root for them, but it's like I think everybody in Carolina that is a fan of the hockey team knows how the season's going to end. They'll make the playoffs, which is awesome, dude. Like, great job, but they're just not going to break through. Stankoven is still doing good over there, man. Like, I'm so proud and happy for him that, this trade just worked out for everybody. We're fucking loving Rantanen. He scored the only goal in our loss against the Blues. Was that last night? But yeah, it's working out for everybody. Everybody's win-win-win. Worked out. But so yeah, they come in, they beat the Stanley Cup defending champions, the Panthers, which is super impressive. But now they're kind of cooking, and I'm super excited to keep watching games. I wish I could remember that guy's name. I think it starts with a Z. From the Sabres. And as much as I do, I've said this probably a million times before, as much as I do enjoy kind of the old school emblem, on the jersey, dude, those red and black and like silver buffalo head jerseys back in the 90s, those were sick, dude. I love those. If I were to get a Buffalo jersey, which I actually might at some point, I would definitely get it in that style. What's that guy's fucking name? I can picture his face. He played with them forever. It starts with a P. PD, Paul. I don't remember. But yeah, anyway, so the thing I love about the Flyers, the Broad Street Bullies, is really just that. It's not that, I think it's like it was in the 80s and early 90s where they just go and beat the shit out of everybody on the ice. It's kind of tame compared to that time in history, but they haven't lost that whole mentality of like size and strength. It always seems like year after year after year after year, Philadelphia are just a bigger team. Their guys are just bigger. You know what I mean? Like, and that's it can work to their advantage. You know what I mean? Like, that's harder to get around those guys on the ice. They have probably longer sticks to reach pucks that normally couldn't have been reached by an average height player. They can get in the way. I mean, it's just I love that style, that grinding, like, not necessarily even beat you up style, but just like, they take up more of the ice. It's harder to play against. It's like you can be as fast as you want, but the amount it's just that game, that strategy is like, are you fast enough to get around how broad this guy is? You know what I mean? And it's not to say the Flyers are slow, dude. I was watching a little bit of their game the other night. Those big boys can fucking move on the ice, dude. When you get somebody that size hurling at you, you might want to duck and cover, forget about the puck. But yeah, I've always loved that, dude. I remember playing Sega, and that was always the team. It's my favorite color is orange, but that was always the team that I played with. I was always picking the Flyers. I just loved them, even if they sucked. Even if like I knew my team couldn't beat the other team, like if I was playing somebody else, 1v1, even if they're picking like whoever it was at the time, that was the New York Rangers, I was still picking the Flyers. I love the team. I love the emblem. I love the color scheme. It's just awesome to me. But yeah, so there's a little bit of hockey. My Dallas Stars have been going through, we were the last undefeated team in the NHL this season, which, it didn't have a huge streak going or anything, but it was nice to be undefeated, and they've since dropped the last two to the Blues, and then I can't remember who before that. But, it's a long season. We're going to have to learn some lessons. I hope we don't realize how truly hard it is to make it to the Western Conference Finals. But I kind of, and I've said this before, after the whole DeBoer thing, I think this season we're going to find out how truly hard it is to make it back there. You got to have all the things. And I'm not talking shit on Golitzin. I'm not saying he can't do it. He can. But will it be done? Obviously not from a lack of trying. They're always going to keep trying. But, yeah, it's just like we had a hot start. We ran into a brick wall all of a sudden, lost the last two games. It's like, I can understand losing one and then winning a couple more and then losing one. You want to limit it to one. One game losing streaks, 2 is bad, 3 is obviously worse. You don't want to really go past 3. I mean, especially in our division, dude. Like, you get down and you're done. Our division will run away from you immediately. So, anyways, there's a little MLB that I've been watching. There's a little bit of hockey. You got my little AI music story. I really am loving. I'm so tempted to play a song to end this episode, but I won't. I don't want to get in copyright trouble. Jesus Christ, you don't want fucking Led Zeppelin or Metallica coming after you, I forgot to say this too. The reason that it's acceptable, like in a YouTube short, you can use music, copywritten music. The reason it's acceptable in that instance is YouTube has the licensing agreements for the music they have on their platform. So therefore it's okay to use in that space on that platform. But because I was kind of thinking that would be the other workaround. I'm like, okay, if I can upload it to the short, I'll just play my short. I'll say, hey, here's my latest YouTube short. And it'll conveniently have the music in the background, and everybody wins. Then I can actually change the playlist that way every week. But no, it doesn't work like that. They got it locked up tighter than that. It just sucks, Music just adds a vibe you can't get from going, hey, what's up, everybody? How you doing tonight? You know what I mean? Like, that's not the same. It's not the same vibe. So, anyways, oh my God, I still have a whole other one to drink. I'm going to do it real quick. Let's go ahead, have another drink. Not necessarily our last drink. If you got them, drink them. Bottoms up. Cheers. I do love I love/hate AI. You know what I mean? Like, it's cool, but I kind of wonder too, like, how much is too much, and like at what point will the AI start like rotting my brain? You know what I mean? There's some weird shit, dude, and not just in the music department. I think the music thing is probably pretty safe. It's okay, AI remaking music in different genres or styles. I think that's probably pretty safe. It's just, dude, I saw this one. It's weird because I can't describe it very well, and I also can't get it out of my memory. You know what I mean? So it's just like this blob on the screen, but the blob kept morphing into like different faces, different like creepy faces. And it just really, it's like one of those things is like sticks with you. You can't forget what you've seen. It's like when I was a kid, the the flying monkeys in Wizard of Oz, dude, they freaked me out, man. You can't, once you watch the movie, you can't unsee that. I continuously had nightmares about flying monkeys and the Wicked Witch outside my window in my bedroom as a kid. Like, and it was weird too because it was like she was using her witch powers like a spell to where I would be like in the dream, I'd be screaming for my mom because I'm like freaked out, but my voice wouldn't work. And then her laughing outside my window as the shit swirls and the monkeys are flying around. Dude, it was like a horror scene, man. It just seems like she's laughing because she's taking away my voice. I can't scream for my mom to get help. Yeah, it's just still to this day. Chucky, I mean, it fucked me up, bro. You can watch shit too early in your life, you know what I mean? Like, still to this day, like, I did it as a kid, getting in a car. You're always, like, looking at the floorboards and, like, under the seats and shit, making sure Chucky's not there. Even to this day, I'll get in the car and, like, look in the back seat. Because I remember that scene where that guy got in his car and Chucky popped out and strangled him. And he was always so, like, brutal and ruthless with his words. Like, you know, didn't have zero fucks for anybody's life, obviously. He's a demonic killer. But I remember him being in the backseat and be like, hey, motherfucker. And it's like, holy shit, that's freaky as fuck. I can't watch this anymore. You know, I'm just not into it, man. I'm not into the horror. I can't, you know, I like suspense. I like a good story. I like something that could possibly be real. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not afraid to stretch my imagination a little bit. But, you know, gore doesn't do it for me like the Saw and stuff. Like, I don't mind gore. Let me just go ahead and say that. But, like, just the movies where it's just, like, different ways people get killed. Like, that's primarily what the movie is. It's like, it doesn't do it for me. That's not really a good story, you know? That's brutal, I'll give you that. It's gory, I'll give you that. But I need a movie like Fallen with Denzel Washington. That movie freaked me out / was suspenseful, had my attention the whole time. A movie like The Devil's Advocate. Growing up, dude, that movie got to me, man. When the people's faces start changing in like demonic shapes and shit. Oh, God. It fucking freaked me out, dude. Toronto's up. Toronto's up even more. Was that a home run? Or just off the wall? Toronto's up 2-0, bottom of the third. Toronto's got to win tonight, man. But yeah, I think I'm going to have to pause. I'm not going to be able to finish this. This is going to go on for another 15 minutes. I gotta move on. I got to make some YouTube shorts, man. By the way, go check out my YouTube page. It's growing. It's fun, dude. Like, I'm having so much fun creating videos for you guys. I appreciate all the awesome comments. Like, I'm not going to lie, dude. When I first started posting on YouTube, it was a little rough, you know, like the comments and stuff. Like, people are trying to argue and trying to talk shit, you know, even though they don't know you or, you know. But the funniest thing to me is when people talk shit on your video and then you go to their page and they have 0 videos. It's like, oh, okay, this is just one of the, what do you call it? Not a fire account. What the fuck is, I'm not cool. I can't remember the slang. A burner account. You just, yeah, it's, oh shit. Toronto 2-run shot, 4-0 Toronto in Toronto. So does that mean the next game would come back to Seattle? That would be huge for them. Anyways, yeah, let me pause real quick. I'm not going to finish this unless I pause. All right, guys, this is it. Last drop. If you got them, drink them, bottoms up. Cheers, everybody. All right. As always, don't drink and drive. Treat yourself to an Uber. Treat yourself to a Lyft. Treat yourself to a DoorDash. Just be safe out there. I love you all. I will talk to you next week. Bye!